We get the updated sales, and it seems like the Xbox Series X and even the S, the sales have kind of gone the way of the dodo. Like, they're slowing down even more so, and it is, I don't want to say concerning, but you do start to wonder a little bit sort of what's going on. Like, and I'm playing at my Xbox on a daily basis, and I'm sitting there kind of wondering, what am I missing? Right? Like, what am I missing by not booting up my PlayStation 5? I'm trying to think of an easier way to kind of put that, but I'm just being as honest as I can. What in the world am I missing when it comes to Xbox versus PlayStation 5? Like, I don't understand. Like, Xbox is absolutely, yeah, Redfall is a little bit of a misnomer there. It's not a great game, but other than that, like, what in the world am I missing? Because it seems like everybody's playing PlayStation, even the Switch, and the Switch is like a kabillion years old. I don't understand it. The thing is literally, just I'm going on 7 years old. That's usually the time where things completely fall off the rails. And for Nintendo, that's not really the case, and I'm not really sure exactly why. But it is sort of weird to see that, it's continued to happen, that this thing is like completely outselling Xbox. It's completely outselling PlayStation in terms of this month. Just crazy to think that. But again, I want to get into this. Why do you think people aren't buying an Xbox? Do you think it's just the games? Do you think it's the availability of their games like on cloud and PC day one? Is it bias, or people just buying what they know? So we got the NPD numbers in. The company formerly known as NPD has released its latest monthly report for video game sales in the United States in April of 2023. Total spending dropped, but hardware jumped in terms of game sales. Star Wars Jedi Survivor was the number one best-selling game, and Nintendo Switch was the top-performing console of the month for unit sales. Jedi Survivor immediately blasted up the charts to become the number 4 best-selling game of 2023. It released on April 28th and had only 2 days accounted for, so even so, it was number 1 best-selling game of April 23 in the U.S. Dead Island 2 was number 2 with MLB The Show, which is also on Game Pass. Resident Evil 4 and Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 rounding out the top 5 with the monthly charts. Shifting to hardware, total sales spending jumped 7%, representing the best April for hardware revenue spending since April 2020. The PS5 and Switch saw double-digit percentage growth for dollar sales, but Xbox sales declined. PS5 was the best-selling console in April 2023 for dollar, but Switch moved the most units. The PS5 is number 1 for 2023 in terms of units and dollars. Spending on hardware in the U.S. to date is now up 18% when compared to figures years ago. So the Switch and the PS5 are both up, but, it's sort of funny to see that the Xbox sales aren't up. They're actually declined. And it doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me, especially, like, I get that last year was a rough year first-party wise for Microsoft, but this year they're really kind of stomping it and taking it to PlayStation, in my opinion. So I don't understand what the deal is or what the holdup is of people. Maybe they just want to, wait until like the Starfields and stuff drop. Maybe they don't believe in Xbox. I don't know. It's like whenever I kind of bring up, Sony and their lackluster lineup like this year, people always go, well, the fans believe in PlayStation, so they buy it with the belief that, PlayStation is going to have this, and so that's okay because they always deliver. In my opinion, Xbox has always delivered in generations too. It might not be consistent like where they deliver at the end of a generation like PlayStation tends to, right? Like, let's just be honest. People must forget or weren't around for like PS2, PS3, PS4 era, because those all started off extremely slow and then picked up. PS3 in particular was extremely slow for years and years, and then it ended up picking up the pace there at the tail end. The PS4 was really, really slow as well, and then it picked up towards the end. And the PS5 started off, people like to make a lot out of their launch lineup and the launch year because it had more than what they previously have had, but that's not saying much. since they usually don't have much. So it's not really as big a deal, in my opinion, that they had all this stuff. And from what I can see, like Microsoft, they have Game Pass. I mean, MLB The Show is in Game Pass day one. You had Hi-Fi Rush, you had Ghostwire Tokyo, you had Redfall, which granted isn't great, but I still had fun with it and think it's a fun co-op game. You've got Starfield, Forza, and probably Hellblade 2 launching later this year. So, like, what's it going to take? Are people just that ingrained with, with PlayStation? Like, that's realistically my question right now. Like, are people really just that ingrained with PlayStation and will never go to Xbox? Is it like I'm curious as to like what exactly is kind of going on, and nobody really has been able to explain it to me yet. Is it like, I would love to honestly know what the deal is and what Microsoft can do to fix things, because they're releasing games. They've admitted their faults. I think that, obviously, maybe there's a little bit more to it than that, but at the end of the day, what else can you do? Like, they're doing the things that they need to do, and it is a little bit frustrating as a fan to see that the things that they're doing aren't exactly paying off the way that they probably should. But I do think that, honestly, we're going to see maybe some uptick. If we need, and if we need Sony to prove something, like Microsoft, then there's just like this double standard, and that's the thing that I don't understand. Like, this double standard is like this crazy thing that I'm seeing more and more lately, and people aren't even ashamed to admit it, to be honest with you. That's the funny part. I see people that I kind of talk with on social media and stuff, and they're like, well, they're in last place, so that's why, and people are harder on people that are in last place or whatever. And I'm like, and you guys think that that's fair? Like, okay, so Xbox is in last place, so they can't do anything to overcome that because they're in last place, and so that people look at them in a weird way. Like Sony, I keep saying Sony had an extremely bad week, or a bad couple weeks. They canceled 3 games. They closed the studio. They hadn't announced the showcase at that point. Microsoft won the Activision EU thing. So, in my opinion, it was a bad week, and nobody's talking about it. And everybody's like, well, yeah, they would talk about it more if it was Microsoft, but the reason why they would talk about it more is because, Microsoft's in last place, and they're this and this and this, and it's just like, was all this nonsense. And I'm sitting there thinking to myself, you guys are literally admitting that there's this huge double standard, right? Like, you're admitting it. There's this double standard. I don't understand it, and at the end of the day, I don't think I'll ever understand it. Like, there shouldn't be any double standards. What Sony can do, Microsoft should do. What kind of is allowed to do anyway. And I just find it to be kind of frustrating, to say the least. So anyway, I would love to hear your guys' thoughts and opinion. What is the deal? What's going on with Xbox? Do you think, again, first of all, I want to also say that it's not necessarily a doom and gloom thing. I don't think Xbox is in trouble. I just, as far as I could tell, I would like to be able to see a little bit more in terms of the sales. You would like to see things stay a little bit closer. Like, how can they get worse than the Xbox One there towards the middle? Things were going extremely bad for them. So it doesn't really make a lot of sense to me that I'm seeing so much. But again, it's not really what I see. Like, maybe I am crazy. I don't know. But I would love to hear your guys' take on it. You can sound off, rate, comment, subscribe. Please like the video if you're new to the channel. I appreciate you. Rack 'em up. Crap Gamer out.